on this 5th day of January, the beginning of the first full week of the new year. We'll have open phones from now till 11 o'clock at 989-752-6111. And at 11 o'clock, we will learn about the bridal slipper, and the glass slipper, and a big bridal show. That'll be on Focus after the news at 11. But for this hour and next hour, open phones. And imagine we'll have to talk a little bit about the events of the weekend, where the United States captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cecilia Flores, wanted for narco-terrorism. And I have to tell you, I have mixed feelings about it. And I'll explain that. First of all, some folks have been comparing this to what happened when we got Manuel Noriega in Panama. But they're not the same. They're not even close to the same. Panama, a very small nation. We were worried about the Panama Canal. And it was an entirely different scenario, although once captured and brought to the United States, that's where the scenario begins to probably have similarities. Going into Venezuela to capture Maduro and his wife, it's entirely different. We saw a buildup. We've been attacking drug boats, capturing a couple of oil tankers that are using the waterways to deliver sanctioned oil. And the president has said on many occasions that he would take action if necessary. One thing, say about Donald Trump, whether you like him or you don't like him, if he says he's going to do something, be prepared. More than likely it's going to get done. The questions that have to be answered, and I think they are fair questions, because in my position, I like the fact we went after the drug boats. I had no problem with that. No problem with stopping the sanctioned oil from getting anywhere. Invading a nation to capture its leader, although I will grant you not a legally elected leader, but one rather that imposed a dictatorial result, brings up serious questions that have to be answered. Constitutional questions. What's the limit of the power of a president? Now, already the opposition in Congress is saying, oh, the War Powers Act, and he has to go to Congress first. No, that's not what the War Powers Act says. He can act in the name of national security and then go to Congress within a specific time frame. How many hours and days before he has to notify Congress of the action, and how long can he continue the action until Congress has to approve by declaring war? It's all part of the War Powers Act. Did he act within that structure? And as I read the structure, I think he did. But the bigger question is the constitutionality of the action. And I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I don't play one on the radio. I may look at it one way. Courts may look at it entirely differently. And have we gained anything? That, too, has to be answered. And I say that because the Venezuelans immediately swore in the vice president as president, and she may not be much better than he is. That's to be determined. And the president has already issued her stern warnings if she doesn't play ball, so to speak. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Certainly an interesting way to start the new year, no doubt about it. Maduro and his wife will appear in federal court at noon today, according to the plan anyway. And I assume at that time the charges will be read, and they will or will not enter a plea. Depends. I don't know if they have legal counsel, who that legal counsel is. Haven't heard yet. But it will be something to watch, something to see. Time will tell. And it's all based on drugs, narco-terrorism. There are four, as I understand it, four main charges. It's a 4-count indictment, and it will be interesting to see how it comes to trial and how it's adjudicated. Time will tell. Let's see. We have Scott in Saginaw with us. Scott, good morning.
Hey, morning, Art. I'm going to put a little different spin on this thing here. To me, this is just more of the TDS, the Trump derangement syndrome, because we know that Trump put a bounty out on Maduro in his first term. Nobody cried, nobody complained. Joe Biden got in office, didn't say anything, didn't remove the bounty, actually raised it to $25 million. Everybody thought it was good. Maduro needs to be arrested. Tough talk. Trump gets in there with the military, and they execute the good idea with precision. Now, all of a sudden, this good idea is a terrible idea, and Trump's another breaking the law.
Well,
it's just...
I would say this. I agree with you in part. Certainly the Trump derangement syndrome the other side will cause them to object to anything he does. But there are some constitutional questions here that have to be addressed. Forget whether you like Trump, don't like Trump, doesn't matter. But I think for the future, these questions have to be addressed. Is this a legal action by the president? If it is, fine, off we go. If it's not, then what safeguards do we put in place for the future? I think those are legitimate questions, and it has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with the Constitution. And I think they have to be answered.
If that's the case, then why can we even put a bounty out? How do we expect a bounty to get fulfilled?
Well, because it's one thing. Well, listen, administrations in the past have done nothing. They've talked a lot. Yep. The difference is this president, when he says it, look out, because he usually does it. And, bounties have been around a while. It's not that unusual. I just think that, when you're talking about bounties and things like that, you're talking about speech. It's one thing to say. It's another thing to do. This president, as we have learned, is a doer. And, I want to ensure the fact that what he does is A, in the best interest of the United States, and B, is legal under the Constitution. I personally think he has the right to do what he did, but I'm not a constitutional lawyer, and I realize there are constitutional questions. They need to be answered.
I agree. Well, I think he's gathered around himself a bunch of good lawyers as well, and they're making sure they're staying on the up and up. And I say that just simply because all the charges they brought against the president have seemed to have been fraudulent. So he seems, he's not a saint. Don't get me wrong. Donald Trump is Donald Trump, but he doesn't seem to break the law. Will he use the law in his favor? Yeah, because he told Hillary Clinton that. He said, "Yeah, I take all the tax breaks. You guys wrote it in there."
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have no fault with that at all. None whatsoever.
I would think that they probably most likely are inside the law, and so it's going to be a fair thing to do that they did. But again, I'm waiting for the Democrats now to go get a GoFundMe page to try to get Maduro out of jail.
Make bail. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Art.
All right. Good enough, Scott. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. Take a break. Come back. Jim in Midland. Hang on. You'll be next.
Gotta go.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. 30 degrees outside, by the way. It is beginning to warm, and this week will be warmer than normal. Let us talk to Jim, who is in Midland. Good morning.
Good morning. It's still Tim in Midland. I think I'm going to change
Tim.
my name.
I don't know why they do that. It's Tim.
Well, I think
It's
I changed my name.
Tim. Okay,
I'll
Tim.
take Tim. But I'll just go by whatever. So, hey, speaking of this disaster that's waiting to happen down in Venezuela, a MAGA caller, your guy just called it Scott. I mean, whatever Trump does, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. Okay, but he ran on, we're done with this regime change interventionism. He ran on that. Okay, that is one thing he said he wasn't going to do. I spent 3 years of my life in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the easy part's over. That's the easy part. The military intervention, we can do that. We can do that excellent. Execute those missions flawlessly. Where we come in and we screw it up every single time is where we're at now. We think we're gonna save this country. We're gonna make it great, and it doesn't happen. It never.
We think we're going to turn it into a democracy that mirrors us, and that's not going to happen.
It's not going to, but that's the way we think. And the arrogance of now it's the Don Rowe doctrine. Gotta love that guy. Gotta love his tone on that one. I love that. The Don Rowe doctrine now. Yeah, what a great guy. What a joke. He's such a clown. And I cannot get over what a clown this guy's turning into. It's a clown needs a stage, and he needs a theater, and he needs people to laugh and applaud at him. And this guy, I've been on the edge with Trump so many times. It's like, hey, good and back. He's a clown. I'm done with this guy. We got to get out of this game of thinking we're going to get in there and change things. We're going to make it better. And he's not going to stop there. He's going to go into Cuba. He'll be over in Iran. This is going to go on and on and on with this guy. And I am so tired of it. Why does he think he's going to do it better this time than anybody else did? Because he's Don. He's the Don.
Yeah. Well, he's always. I mean, he's. I'm not as surprised as you are because he's always been that way. He's a New Yorker. I watched him in the early days, and he's no different. I mean, he's very, very self-centered, and that's who he is personally. So I'm not surprised.
That's his downfall. Is his hubris? It's going to ruin.
Well, I'm gonna correct you this way, Tim. If it's been his downfall, he's been president twice. Many people would say that's not much of a downfall. I understand that you don't like what he does, and I'm not disagreeing because there are things he does I don't like. But careful when you say it's his downfall because it certainly hasn't been. I
mean, his best thing is promoting himself. He promotes himself better than anyone else.
Always has. Always has.
And that's how he's gotten into office. He sells himself, and people buy it.
Well,
to me, he's a snake oil salesman. He's selling snake oil.
Yeah, but every politician does that. Not to the degree he does, but you have to sell yourself to get elected.
Bingo. So he is like every other politician.
Oh, he's become that.
He's not like everybody else. He's different. No, he's different.
Well,
he's like the rest of them. And this proves it. Venezuela thing proves it. I'm smarter. I can do this. I can execute this flawlessly. Absolutely.
Well,
they can go in and do it.
It's one of the main things that I do not like about him. Everything is better, best, the greatest, and that's nonsense.
It'll be tomorrow too. You hear the greatest thing ever. Tomorrow would be that's what he's a clown.
So what you had, I mean, and I'm gonna point something out here because while he may be a clown, he also does some things that needed to be done that were not done under the previous administration. And and you have to give him credit where credit is due. Otherwise, the criticism doesn't hold forth. And I have to tell you this because even the people that are MAGA people, he's the greatest this, the greatest that, the greatest. If they don't recognize what failures there are, or what it's the word I'm looking for, bravado without substance. If you don't admit that, then all of your support doesn't mean anything either, because then you're just blindly following. So in order to be critical, you have to be critical and be able to praise.
Right, but the MAGA crowd can't do that. You're a traitor. If you say anything against Donald Trump, you're a traitor.
That's
you're
changing.
Labeled
That is changing. There's a lot in the MAGA crowd that have offered up criticism. So
Right,
that's changing a little bit. And then what do you say about the other side that's going so far left and progressive? That
but that's another issue. It's like, these are my two choices. I've got MAGA or I've got socialism.
Exact bingo.
And
I have said time and time again, the far left and the far right make all the noise, and most Americans don't live there.
Right. So bottom line on this is what you alluded to there with the MAGA crowd. I think you're going to see a lot of people are going to disagree with this Venezuela interventionism.
Possibly.
Continue. So I know the veteran crowd that I run with are completely against it. You know, got guys like me that have spent a long time in the Middle East getting nothing out of it, seeing our buddies blown up, killed, wounded, maimed, everything else for nothing. So I know the majority of the veteran crowd is against this. I know that. So,
well, appreciate your service.
You bet. All right.
All right, buddy.
Take care.
Thanks. Take care. And here is Carol in Sheridan. Carol, good morning and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody else. And, of course, if we're talking about Venezuela, we aren't talking about the prices here and how much things have went up and all the screw-ups in the health insurance for older people and younger people. And we aren't talking about that now. We're just talking about Venezuela.
Well, guess what? They're going to have to be talking about that because by the end of January, they have to come up with a new either continuing resolution or fix the health care one way or another. It's going to be in the forefront here.
Well, that would be nice. And the other day, the guy talked about the gal addicted to phones, and I wrote down some addiction, neatness or lack of it. There's drug addiction. There's politics addiction. There's a lack of the food. People eat too much or too little. That's kind of addiction. Gambling addiction, alcohol addiction, pop addiction, work. Either people are addicted to work, don't pay attention. Addiction to sugar and chocolate, washing their hands. There's many kinds of addiction, and that's the one you notice because you see it, right?
Oh, you left one major one out.
What?
Social media.
That's okay. I'll write that one down too. but I got to think about there's just so many addictions that's very visible when I
human nature.
sit there for hours.
It's human nature.
Well, I think so too.
Because it's and there are degrees of addiction too. Some worse than others, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
well, of course. But I think most everybody has something they're addicted to a little bit.
I would think
you?
so. Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely.
He just wash his hands till they were just wore out. I mean, but you don't see
we used to call that germophobia.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that goes on that we don't think about maybe or we don't see. So I just kind of thought about it and I just wrote it down just for the heck of it.
Good.
Enjoy. Well, we're going to have a nice day. It's not bad out now. I can go outdoors without my nose freezing shut. Maybe I can get some things done.
And it's going to get better as the week goes on.
Yeah, but I hate rain in the winter. It sure
well.
and my friend from Hobart in the UP, they hadn't been home for 2 weeks, and he said, "Well, Hobart don't get much snow up there. They're not. They're kind of up from the Sioux a ways, and over just a little ways west." And he got up there, and the snow was as high as his deck.
Yeah, they've been buried up in the Upper Peninsula, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, he said we don't get much, but they hadn't been up there in 2 weeks, and
surprise!
They had to plow their way to get in.
All right.
Yeah, but it's nice, fluffy snow. It'll go away.
Yeah, you got it. All right, Carol. Have a good one.
Take care, you guys.
Take care.
Yeah,
bye-bye now. Take a break. Come back. We'll get to Jim and Wheeler when we return.
It's a new year and time for
country.
Well,
if they don't love it, leave it.
However, having said that,
I realize they were born here.
No. Well, but that's my point is this is an open show and we have free speech in this country. We don't have don't have to agree with it, but they got a right to say it.
They do, but they ought to be looking in the mirror as they're doing it. Yeah, well, that's all I got to say. You have a good day.
All right, Jim, thanks.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye now. And I have a feeling going back to what was said earlier about all the veterans feel that way. Maybe all the vets he knows, but I doubt if you lined up 100 veterans, you'd have uniform answers as to what Trump did. It's, he stirs the pot. There's no doubt about it. And I think in many ways he likes the reaction, good or bad. But as I said earlier about Venezuela, while I personally, I'm glad he did what he did, I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I don't play one on the radio. I'll leave that to the courts to decide. Because eventually, if it's brought to court, it's going to end up at the Supreme Court. And we'll get an answer once and for all. It's going to be interesting to see what the defense comes up with for Maduro and his wife. They are supposed to be arraigned at 12 noon today in New York. We'll hear the charges. And from this point forward, we'll get an inkling of what the defense thinks they're going to use as tactics in the trials. If nothing else, it's going to be an interesting time. But the other thing we have to remember is that not to let this be a distraction from what else is happening in this country. Because those same people that are screaming bloody murder in Congress haven't done anything about a budget. And guess what? By the end of January, we're going to be right back where we were in November. Either trying to get a budget or a continuing resolution, and they're going to be screaming about the same thing. And there is no doubt health care in this country needs to be addressed. The cost of health care is out of sight. Cost of insurance is ridiculous. But the ACA, or Obamacare, didn't fix that problem. It made it worse. We need to rethink how we pay for medicine and medical services in this country. And since it's on the table, now's a good time to do it. But we won't. We'll get all kinds of people going before the microphones and making the press happy. Making all kinds of statements, but very little action. That's too bad. All right, let's take a break. Come back with more. We're going to talk for a moment about my friends at Quick Lane Freeland and McDonald Ford in Freeland. Quick Lane Freeland is where you go for all your routine service, like oil changes and your cooling system and your brakes and tires. And speaking of tires, particularly with the weather we've been having, there's a difference between winter tires and your all-season tires. And to tell us about it, I've asked John from Quick Lane Freeland to explain that difference.
Hello, Art. Yes, winter tires are made with a pliable rubber compound that includes silica to stay flexible and maintain grip in freezing temperatures, unlike harder all-season tires which stiffen and lose traction in the cold. This flexible compound allows the tire to better conform to the road surface, providing superior grip and traction on snow and ice to keep you safe.
Thanks, John. Stop in and have them check your tires, check your cooling system while you're there, too. It's all happening at Quick Lane Freeland on the McDonald Ford property, where you can also check out the complete lineup of Fords and their pre-owned lot with value for everyone in any budget. Quick Lane Freeland and McDonald Ford. Two names that stand ready to help you with all your automotive needs.
It's natural to have questions.
And let us return to our phones this morning on this open line edition of the Art Lewis Show. And we have Susan in Fairgrove. Susan, good morning.
Good morning. Hello?
Hi, go ahead.
Okay, so I have an interesting question. I was driving, so I couldn't write down the information. You had a guest on your show. And on October 8th, I realized that was a while ago, but it's the beginning of the year. I know when I'm trying to get organized. He was a very nice person discussing Medicare and Medicaid and all the different options. And I tried doing it on my own, and I'm like, no, I got to go. No.
Well, let me see if I can figure out who it was, first of all.
I did try going online. I couldn't do it. I couldn't look on your website.
Well, yeah, it's probably not there anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I think it was probably Jeff Carrick from M-Care.
M-Care?
Yeah, he specializes in Medicare and that. Let me see if I can find a number.
What was the last name again, please?
Carrick, Carrick. Let me see.
Oh, you're a doll.
M-Care Choices. I think that's it. Yep. So let me see if I can get you a number.
Oh, great. I'm sure there's other people who are listening who will really also like this information.
All right, here's the Saginaw number, 989 899 7820.
7820. Oh, you are a doll.
So that'll get you started, and they can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, it is. But once you're on it, you're on it. That's it. You want to make sure you get it right in the beginning.
Right. Yes.
So they can help you that way.
Thing.
They can help you.
Thank you so much. You're an angel.
Thanks, Susan. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye-bye. And we talked to Carl in Saginaw. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Art. Getting back to invading countries, you remember Colin Powell right before our invasion of Iraq? He talked about the Pottery Barn rule, that if you break it, you bought it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we went into Iraq anyway. And, yes, we bought that mess. And I don't know if we're going to go into Venezuela, to the same degree. But
I doubt it.
If their government collapses or their economy collapses.
Their economy's already collapsed.
Well, if it gets worse, then we're holding the bag.
Yeah.
It's going to be our mess. It's going to be our mess.
Well, it's pretty hard to get worse.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. And I bet China is watching very closely right now.
Oh, sure they are. And so is Iran, and so is Russia.
Yes. And China's looking at Taiwan, just trying to find any excuse they can to invade Taiwan and take it over.
Here's the thing about that. They talk a lot, but they don't want a conflict with the United States.
Well, will there be one?
There would be.
US?
Oh, there would be. Taiwan, absolutely, there would be.
I'm not so sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Trump has given almost a green light to Putin in the Ukraine to invade another country, and he constantly takes Russia's side in all of the negotiations. I mean,